Roundball Rock podcast, starring Dave Schilling, Elgin Baylor, Patrick Ewing, Joey Devine, Kobe Bryant, Wes Matthews, Sean Keane, Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film, musical guest, 30-odd foot of grunts, and now the temporary host of Roundball Rock, Joey Devine.
Hi, it's me, Joey Devine, your temporary host of Roundball Rock, and we are here, and we are angry. It's Monday night after the finals, and Sean, my first question for you, before we get to some business, is who are you more mad at? The Golden State Warriors for holding a gun to Kevin Durant's head, or the Toronto Raptors fans for spitting on Kevin Durant when he was and lighting off fireworks when he got hurt?
I can't believe they pelted him with Canadian batteries.
It was wild.
That
wild
was the weirdest
stuff.
thing. I didn't even know they made double A's. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that. I gotta say, what I'm maddest at is that people can't just acknowledge that something happened that was semi-tragic and unsettling without choosing a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
well, luckily we've got two villains.
We're all about finding villains here on Roundball Rock, but I don't know that anyone is necessarily responsible for.
Well, we'll talk about this later. Let's do some stuff first.
Yeah.
First off, if you want to contact us, we like hearing from you at RoundRockPod on Twitter or at roundrockpod@gmail.com, or in the phone number in the leave us a voicemail on the phone number in the description of this podcast. Also, we're doing a listener meetup at Summer League this year, July 8th at 9 p.m. at the Tillman Fertitta slot machines at the Golden Nugget in downtown Las Vegas. Bring $5.
The real part of Las Vegas.
Yeah, bring $5. We're going to take him for everything he's worth, and then we're going to go somewhere else on the Fremont Street experience, because I do not want to give Tillman Fertitta any more of my money by staying at the Golden Nugget. Also, we have a Patreon if you feel like supporting us. That's available at patreon.com/roundrockpod. Also, if you want to buy our album, that's available at roundballrock.bandcamp.com. More merch coming.
Yeah, baby.
All right, let's talk about the finals. And by finals, I mean injury/ref chat/ ignoring entirely what happened in the basketball game. Here's the drop.
It's the NBA playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Basketball for humans.
We're going to be championship.
Data for robots.
Both teams played hard, my man.
Both teams played hard.
All right, Sean. Should Bob Myers be publicly executed for forcing Kevin Durant to play basketball?
Oh, my God. Twitter seems to be voting yes in the poll I put up about an hour ago. I mean, definitely public execution. It's mainly people are torn between whether he should be drawn and quartered or if his Achilles tendons should be cut out and fed to him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, some agree to disagree, I guess, people on Twitter.
I mean, we're joking.
Okay, so
but
let's give the backstory of what happened.
So Kevin Durant played tonight and then tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
And
Early in the second quarter, he made a move and clearly got very hurt. It was 14 minutes into the game.
And then the Raptors fans cheered him getting injured.
Yeah.
Both in Jurassic Park
oh.
and in the arena.
Yeah.
And then they stopped cheering when Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet told them to not cheer.
You know what? Don't do what Kyle Lowry tells you to do. Well, let me give you some life advice, Toronto Raptors fans. He's, people
So
like him.
those were our
Draws
first
charges.
early villains in the evening, were the Toronto
Yeah.
Raptor fans.
Joey, why were they cheering after the injury?
People actually do cheer after injuries in hockey all the time because hockey fans are monsters. So that would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they were first cheering, though, it was really that if you just thought that Kevin Durant had like fallen down or maybe injured himself in a minor way, it was like, well, hey, the Raptors got the ball. Serge Ibaka is going to shoot some free throws. You don't think the initial reaction was like, hey, a good play happened?
No. Have you seen the video of Jurassic Park?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's a crowd of thousands waving goodbye and cheering as he walks off the court.
Well,
and
you know what?
Guys in the arena were waving by in Durant's face as it was happening too.
Yeah. Now, is it possible they were just excited that he'd be able to visit a Canadian hospital instead of a terrible American pit of death?
No, this is all hockey culture and not understanding. Because
you're giving him a free pass because you're like, oh, they've only had basketball for 15 years.
I'm not giving him
25 years.
I'm not giving him a free pass, but also I think it's asinine to be angry at what crowd of 20,000 drunk people do.
I'm
what I'm saying? Like,
look, what I'm saying is Canada not as nice as their reputation. However, Sean Woodley and Katie Heindel nicer than their reputations, which is crazy because it feels like incredible niceness is Katie Heindel's reputation. But and skilled writer, good person. But yeah, look, a little bit of the halo's off, Canada. All right. I don't want to hear all this moralizing about, oh, we have guns, but we don't even lock our doors, eh? Oh, the metric system is so much more useful.
Well,
oh, why are you going to Starbucks when you could go to a Tim Hortons? He's killed in an automobile accident,
Well,
SCTV was so much better than Saturday Night Live.
You're doing like an Irish accent.
I got to a Scottish accent by the end because I started thinking about Mike Myers, how he stole the role of Shrek from Chris Farley. See, Canadians are sneaky, Joey.
Can I read you a tweet from former Warriors center Festus Ezeli, Sean?
Oh, please.
Shit, where is it? I don't care how you feel about KD, Warriors, or about any NBA player. If you ever see someone get injured and cheer, you're fucking scum.
Damn. Is that the most emotion you've ever seen from Festus Ezeli?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, only because I didn't see when Mark Jackson made him cry, but which was reportedly a lot of emotion. And here's the thing. That could be Festus Ezeli, or it could be the cadaver ligament that he had to have put in his knee, taking over in like an idle hands scenario.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Warriors organization here.
Yes.
A lot of people are going real in on the Warriors for KD playing tonight. Which I think is fair. But to me, I think the thing they're mad at the Warriors for is incorrect.
Okay.
What I think people should be mad at the Warriors for is openly going cheap on their medical staff. which we were mentioning last episode, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure it came up.
But because clearly these doctors are pretty incompetent. And when you're maybe not getting you're not getting good information from a bad doctor, but trusting said bad doctor, everything from there breaks bad, if you will.
I do agree with that, but I also from when I first started hearing about this, there was this kind of idea behind it that it was like, all right, well, the Warriors had this training staff that they brought in 2017, right? Like they hadn't been there that long.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right about this? I feel like they'd only been there for like 2 or 3 years.
I think it was 2016 was their first.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they come in after. Okay, but the Warriors have constantly had a bunch of injuries in the postseason. Like Andre Iguodala missed most of the conference finals and didn't come back until halfway through the actual finals last year. KD has been hurt in the playoffs. Steph has been hurt in the playoffs. Clay has been hurt in the playoffs. Like the idea that you hear sometimes where people are like, look, the one thing a medical staff does is keep people from getting any muscle strains. And it's like, well, that's not true from the training staff that you're nostalgic for this exact same team. Like,
sure,
Steph
but we're falling into the wrong. That's not the conversation we're really having, though. You know what I'm saying? We need to talk about.
I agree. I just think people are overreacting about the medical staff in general. Like here's the thing. This is the playoffs and the basketball season are a really, really long stretch that is demonstrably bad for a human body to endure. And this idea that this is honestly like such a dunked on brain prospectus internet nerd kind of thing of like, look, if we just count how many pitches these guys are throwing, no one's ever going to get hurt again. And it's just like the best medical staff in the world is still going to have a bunch of injuries.
Sure. But again,
so I would like to.
That is not what people are mad at.
But people were absolutely mad about this a week ago.
Sure.
So I'm just saying that the expectation that like having a guy only throw 99 pitches or having an Australian chiropractor 20 feet behind the bench.
But again, you're fighting an argument that no one is fighting right now. What everyone is talking about currently. They were
fighting it 24 hours ago. But okay, anyway, people don't understand medicine. But yes, okay, what's the other thing?
I mean, people are saying that my biggest problem is there's a lot of blame to go around with Kevin Durant being hurt. And the Warriors are taking 100% of it. And that to me removes Kevin Durant's own agency from his life.
Yeah, and that is a common thing that you hear when people talk about Kevin Durant. And Joey, how does it? What's the word that comes to your mind when people talk about a 30-year-old, very successful professional man as if he's like a child?
Brian Wilson, is that what you?
No. I was just thinking it sounds kind of racist. That's all. That people constantly are like. Well, I mean, Royce Young had that famous hit piece when Kevin Durant left town, where it was like, he just left town because he's suggestible. You know, someone got in his ear, and that 27-year-old man just couldn't make his own decision. And I, a white man from one of the most racist cities in American history, am calling him out on this. It was the same thing where it's like, do you think no one in Kevin Durant's life suggested to him that he was at risk of a further Achilles injury when he had what everyone thought was probably kind of an Achilles injury 5 weeks ago.
Right. I was going to say, I think the only person who won tonight was Reggie Miller, who declared him having a torn Achilles 5 weeks ago. When Reggie wins, no one wins. So that's always bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of sports, like Twitter medical doctors taking a victory lap right now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So after the game, Bob Myers said to blame him. Tearful.
But I am choosing to blame Joe Lacob. That is why I brought up the other training. That's why I brought up the training staff, because clearly this training staff maybe misdiagnosed an Achilles tear 5 weeks ago. As a calf strain.
That's true. I mean, okay, so I talked to a doctor tonight before we did the podcast, and basically an MRI that doesn't show an Achilles strain or an Achilles tear does not necessarily rule that out. Like it based on studies, it is a thing that an MRI is not particularly useful to diagnose. So no matter how many MRIs Kevin Durant has, when you're diagnosing an injury like that, it comes down to the patient self-reporting how they feel and the individual exam. And clearly, the trainers did fuck that up. But I don't necessarily think that it does not seem like it is necessarily the easiest thing to diagnose.
Right. Rich Kleiman also tonight said before the game, Kevin and I were and the medical staff were targeting Game 5 all along, and he's been on track the entire time.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about it, is that if you're saying they're rushing him back, it's like this is pretty much what they said the whole time.
Now, what I will say is whoever leaked... Look, my main takeaway is the same as our friend at Juice Manjis, which is nobody made Kevin Durant play, and Tim Kawakami's piece was total trash and garbage and gross and bad.
Yeah, that's who I'm blaming, is the Warriors staff of The Athletic, accepting wonderful pure force of light Danny LaRue.
But yeah, I do think that report sucked. It was gross. It was weird. And also what was weird was at the press conference tonight, according to a New York Times reporter that blocked our friend Josh Androsky, before the Bob Myers press conference, Raymond Ritter, the Warriors PR man, aka Flunkster Dude, never forget, announced that the only reporters allowed to ask questions about Kevin Durant were local Warriors media. Which seems pretty odd.
I mean, just weird, but also isn't Raymond Ritter kind of a weird psycho anyway? Like an amiable psycho. Don't get me wrong. But yes, someone who, at least the one time he was caught making what would you call that? Is that like an astroturfing account? He had at least one uncovered pro Warriors fake account. Bob Fitzgerald had a fake one too.
Yeah. Bob Fitzgerald's was TC Firehouse.
This is like a dude who is.
So like Raymond Ritter, I guess we should explain it. So Raymond Ritter,
long-time PR guy for the Warriors. Like he goes back to the Cohen era.
Yes, was caught making. It was on the Warriors World, wasn't it?
It was on Warriors.
Yeah, it was on when Warriors World was a message board. Raymond Ritter was caught posting pro ownership posts under the name Flunkster Dude. and claiming he was a season ticket holder in section 121. And people would be like complaining about the ownership because they had the worst owner in the league. Then he'd be like, I for one am happy about the moves they're making and can't wait to see everybody in section 121 next year. Great season.
Bob Fitzgerald, by the way, got burned, I think, because he sort of forgot it was his burner and started like also defending Notre Dame sports.
Yes,
We were
but
like,
he
wait
was
a
just
second.
blogging on it. That was on Tim Kawakami's blog, where he would attack Tim Kawakami on Tim Kawakami's blog, and then also talk about Notre Dame sports.
Yeah. Basically, there's a lot of shit that people. I mean, that's weird. I also just think that the same people who are tearing down the Warriors right now for their irresponsibility, which, not a great job by the medical staff, would also completely be ripping on Kevin Durant for seemingly waiting too long to come back from an injury. Like, you just can't win against the Joey.
All I want is, look, if Kawhi Leonard gets hurt in Game 6, which hopefully he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I want the same level of outrage.
Right, because hasn't he been playing hurt?
He's been playing hurt for a month. And there have been games where it has looked like he should not be playing at all.
He's like dragging a foot along, and he plays like 42 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But
so
people
that's
were
all
losing
I
their
ask.
people were losing their minds that Kevin Durant had played 12 of the first 14 minutes of the game.
For me, it's just, look, here's my take on everything. Everybody fucked up here. Everyone. The medical staff, ownership, Kevin Durant himself, Steve Kerr, Rich Kleinman, Kevin Durant's personal trainers and personal medical staff, because he also has those. Everyone fucked up because he had passed several MRIs. He'd gone through workouts, and everyone fucked up here. And it's not up to me as a person who watched the game on TV to decide whether or not a person should be playing or not, because it's not my body. I don't know. Because again, I don't know, like, I don't think we as a viewing audience should be parsing like what's banged up and what's injured, because we can't ever know.
Well, also, people are notoriously bad at it. These are things that the internet is bad at doing. Diagnosing injuries, solving crimes.
Catching the Boston Bomber.
That specifically is something the internet was pretty bad at. And here's the thing. Like,
proving... wait, don't forget. Proving Adnan Syed innocent.
Oh, yeah,
also
that's
not
also
good at
something.
that.
Bang up job, internet. Yeah, like, did Kevin Durant feel pressure from the Warriors to play? Yes, but did Kevin Durant feel pressure from Kevin Durant to play? Yeah,
Yes.
dude. Like he's...
Did he feel pressure from you, the people complaining about the pressure now? Yes. Also, yes.
I'm just saying, like, the
Did he feel pressure from me? Yes. Like, we're all everyone is to blame. Injuries are fucking like...
Was I totally psyched that Klay Thompson played in Game 4 when he was definite, like in a normal job? If Klay Thompson had that kind of injury on like a job site, there's no way he would have been back at work 4 days later. But it's different. It's different. Like I'm sure Kevin Durant felt like he needed to play in the finals because he started playing, he started working out with this team in September. It's June now, and he would really like to win the title. He did have a comment on Instagram, Joey.
Oh,
did you know
he?
that?
Well, I mean, I
it's-
can't believe it was Instagram. Wow,
I know.
how unlike Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
It was the comment directed at a 12-year-old kid and also involved calling them a fuckface.
It did not, but
Okay.
but the Instagram is the Players Tribune of the 2020s, and he is a trendsetter, as you can see in the ESPN Plus show Boardroom. I don't know if it's an ESPN Plus show.
It is.
Here's a quote. Dub Nation, gonna be loud as fuck for Game 6. I'm hurting deep in the soul right now, I can't lie, but seeing my brothers get this win was like taking a shot at tequila. I got new life. Lol. #dubs.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Do
you think KD blames the Warriors, Joey?
No. I have heard people say that he will, though, and does, and I don't believe that for a second.
I just, look, maybe they rushed him back, but it didn't feel like they rushed him back.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seems like he came back on the timetable they thought, and, he got hurt. But maybe this is a symbol of the billionaire class having their own team and the Golden State Warriors, and just as late capitalism is falling apart, so are the tendons in Kevin Durant's lower right leg. And I hope that maybe the Daily Beast has a feature on it soon.
All right. Let's talk about the actual game.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, there is one. Our friend, Big Polsky on an asphalt paver.
Yes.
Figured out actually what's happening here.
Yes.
Can I read you a headline, Sean?
Please.
This is from a Janelle Moore piece on August 9th, 2018.
Okay.
Warriors to tap Rick Celebrini as new sports medicine head. Renowned Canadian physiotherapist to replace Chelsea Lane.
Canadian
Renowned,
physiotherapist.
I'll read it again.
Uh-huh.
Renowned Canadian physiotherapist to replace Chelsea
my God.
Lane.
You know what? I bet Greg Popovich recommended this doctor. Look, he sent Kawhi and Danny Green to beat the Warriors in Toronto. He had Kawhi knock out foundational piece Kevon Looney with that shot to the collarbone. He had Danny Green invade Klay Thompson's landing area and hurt his hamstring. But worst of all, he sent a traitorous Canadian physiotherapist to Oakland to derail the Warriors' plans, and specifically to trick Kevin Durant into tearing his Achilles tendon.
The greatest trick
Greg Popovich
ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And like that, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an act of war, Joey.
So
1812, they burned our White House, and we let it go. And that's what happens. Then just 207 brief years later.
So
terrible.
Our friend Sean Hyken asked an interesting question. I want to ask you.
Yes.
Which is this right here. Is this the most impactful injury in NBA history? And he had a follow-up. Arguably the best player in the league at age 30 has an injury in the middle of the finals that will take him out a full season, end a dynasty, and fuck up half the league's free agency plans.
Is that the most impactful injury?
Is this the most impactful injury of all time?
It's probably not, because I think people have a short historical memory. In my default would be Elgin Baylor without knowing the specifics of the Elgin Baylor injury, but it's kind of more impactful if free agency doesn't exist, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you I can't really think of other super impactful injuries offhand.
I have one.
What's that?
I think Steph Curry repeatedly injuring his ankle in 2014 or 2013 is also maybe as impactful, because it leads to Steph Curry signing that contract, them tanking to get those draft picks that become Harrison Barnes, and the Draymond Green pick is higher because of it. And
No, it's a,
oh
that
wait,
one,
no,
that
that's
one's
from a
the
weird
Warriors
trade. That's
pick.
right.
That's a Nets. pick,
But
yeah.
no, but it creates that contract which they then use to save all the money they save to sign Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala.
Okay, the reason it seems more impactful is that like 40% of NBA media is about speculating about roster moves and free agency and draft stuff. And for the most part, across the board, free agency is generally not nearly as impactful as other things. But it is much easier to track, and it has like event dates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to feel more impactful for sure. So yeah, the results are: is he just going to opt into next year's contract?
No fucking way, dude.
He's just
People
going to
saying
sign
that are nuts. Both the Knicks and the Warriors, at least, are going to offer him the full max still. What the Knicks are going to be like? Oh no, we can't sign Kevin Durant. He's got to sit out a year.
Well, I don't think that's the thing. It's more like, is Kevin Durant just going to collect his max salary for next year while he's rehabbing and then become a free agent next summer instead? I don't know.
Because he makes more money getting the max now. Because he's at the 10-year level, right?
Yeah, but if the cap goes up, doesn't he get a bigger chunk? I don't know. I don't know enough about the salary cap minutia to know. It's probably a better idea for him to sign a long-term deal now. Mm-hmm. But it's also like, I don't know. I think the Warriors would definitely give him a max contract even if he has a bad Achilles tear, right?
Yes. And so will the Knicks, and so will the Lakers and the Clippers probably.
My only question is just that, I just wonder if it's because he has a lot of money coming to him next year and he's already very wealthy. So I wonder if the marginal value of the new contract, how that compares to, I don't know. Who knows, man? I just wonder if he would take it as like another wait and see year. You know what I mean? Like he can, because he's not going to be playing the entire season next year. Probably
he's not going to play the whole season. No way.
Yeah. It's a 1-year injury.
And then he's probably not going to be super right the first 2 months of the next season either.
Yeah, so that's what makes me think like he has a guaranteed contract in place. Maybe he just wants to see, because next year is not a participation year for him. I can see the appeal of like seeing where Anthony Davis ends up, seeing what happens with other teams, seeing how the Warriors treat him in that stretch. You know what I mean? Like
maybe. I'm pretty sure he's going to sign a contract this year.
Yeah, he could.
Look, he's going to miss a year now. Like,
right.
Who's to say that he comes back the same guy? Look, most likely he will, because it's not like he's exactly a athleticism-based player.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's still going to be 7 feet tall and shoot the way he does.
And have amazing moves.
But, like, at this point, my thing is I would guess when you're looking at down the barrel of this contract and you just played a year with Boogie Cousins, right. You probably want to take the security.
No, I agree. He's just made a lot of money right now, so I just wonder if the value of his flexibility is worth, millions and millions of dollars to him.
I don't know.
It would be different if he, again, speculating about what Kevin Durant wants and values is somewhat difficult. But I'm happy for him that he has the player option for next year. Just to I don't know. It sucks, man. Warriors, whatever aside, I just don't want anyone that is that amazing to be taken out. Like I just wouldn't want it to happen to anybody in any sport, Executives, that's a different story. You know what I mean? Like if maybe Mark Cuban like hurt himself jacking off in a limousine, I wouldn't be that mad about his Tommy John surgery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like a player, it sucks. Especially when it's the result of a international plot masterminded by Greg Popovich. Like that seems fucked up. Pop's gonna retire soon anyway. He's gotta take Durant down with his
I don't know
Canadian
if Pop's gonna retire
physiotherapist
soon.
Yeah, maybe this is going to give him.
I don't think Ime
strength.
Udoka would have left if Pop was retiring soon, because I'm pretty sure that's who they were kind of grooming to take that job.
Where did Ime Udoka go?
He became Brett Brown's top assistant.
Ooh, well, I mean, I could see how, like, that guy seems like there could be a head coaching job opening coming soon with that guy. Also, like, look, sometimes people just want to get out of San Antonio. No offense, but sometimes people want to get out of San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah, that was a bummer. Because that game was a good game.
It was like the real thing was I really found the first and second quarter before the injury were so fun. It was super fast, crazy basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. It was like it felt like both teams were being forced to unlock all their potential at the beginning of that game. And like in terms of the weirdness and shot making, and it was just incredibly entertaining. And then when KD got hurt, did you find yourself less invested in the game?
No.
I was less invested in the game. I just I felt so bad for KD that, I mean, I was still obviously very into the game, but there was just a certain sense of even with the Warriors escaping elimination, the end result was such a downer overall.
I mean, I didn't feel less invested because what happened tonight is exactly what I've been saying was going to happen since Game 3. Was that they're going to win a close game in Game 5 and then lose by 20 to 30 points at Oracle Arena. And that is still what's going to happen.
I didn't necessarily think they were going to lose big, but I definitely thought they were going to win tonight and lose on Thursday.
Yeah.
I just felt like
still what's going to happen.
It's still, I mean, yes, but I definitely, I don't know, man.
And I'm going to be so mad at Steve Kerr, dude.
Yeah.
He's going to do something so stupid. And you know what he almost did it tonight. He played that weirdo lineup to begin the fourth.
My favorite thing is
he got away with it, and he's gonna play them longer in Game 6. You watch, and they're gonna be minus 15.
My favorite thing is that Kevin Durant went out with an Achilles tear. Kevon Looney, his collarbone finally gave out.
Except he says he's playing.
I'm sure he's still gonna play. He's has the pain tolerance of a bulldog
because he's a Frankenstein and a Dracula.
And yet, in this scenario where the Warriors were down 6 with 3 minutes to go, helped out with a timely Nick Nurse timeout to break his own team's momentum, the shorthanded Warriors came back and held on for this road victory in Toronto. I knew you would still be infuriated about a lineup that played the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and broke even.
Here is why I'm infuriated by it,
It was
Sean.
6-6.
Here is why. Because that's why. Because it was 6-6, it means he's going to play that lineup longer in the next game.
I think you have this idea of the options available on this Warriors bench that occasionally blows my mind when I'm like, okay, I know you hate that those guys were out there, but who is left?
Here's what you do. You do what Nick Nurse is playing, which is play 7 guys, not 12. He's still playing 12 guys, dude.
But the reason is Nick Nurse has 7 young men. he doesn't have these like broken toys like Andrew Bogut and Sean Livingston. Like I don't know which Warriors I would choose to fill out a 5-man rotation necessarily at this point, much less 7.
I mean,
like would you lean on Quinn Cook? Maybe, but he was awful in Game 4. Alfonso McKinney, maybe, but Kawhi Leonard seems to abuse him a lot. Sean Livingston seems to be like his bones are maybe decaying from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the choice
I'm gonna be right, Sean. You're gonna be texting me about how he's playing Jonas Jerebko, and Jonas Jerebko's a -12.
Look, dude, that guy sucks. But but who's left? If there's like you DeMarcus Cousins is just throwing a crazy 20-sided die at all times.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 guys I trust on the team.
Yeah, but I'd still rather roll with rolling that DeMarcus Cousins die or doing anything else than than playing guys who shouldn't be
but
playing
DeMarcus
in the
Cousins
playoffs.
was in that lineup you're talking about.
Oh, yes. Of course. But why is Jordan Bell out with DeMarcus Cousins? Like,
I'm just
pick
saying,
one. Pick one big man. That's all I'm saying.
But who's replacing him? There's not a lot of great options.
All right. We're never going to... You're going to see how right I am when they lose Game 6 because of this.
Well, I mean, they're not... Are they going to lose Game 6 because of their lineups? No,
Yes.
they're going to lose. They're going to lose Game 6 because Kevin Durant isn't there anymore. And Klay Thompson is playing on a broken hamstring that might snap completely any moment, and Kevon Looney is going to be addicted to opioids by the end of this.
And then we're going to throw Bob Myers in jail where he rightfully belongs.
He does rightfully belong in jail, but Sean Livingston played 16 minutes. Did he make a basket? No. It's just Bogut.
Right.
Like, there's not. Anyway, it's all right.
Did Toronto
Bogut,
choke?
what about? It's hard to say because I feel like it was more that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just really came through at the end, and then the Warriors played really good D. Except sometimes DeMarcus Cousins would fall into somebody.
Well, no, that's another thing I want to talk about. Whatever the Warriors are doing where they're just letting their bigs get roasted by a guard without helping needs to stop, because that is entirely how Toronto came back. Again, I forget who we were talking about that it made it look like Steve Kerr was trying to embarrass the person in front of the world, but he did it both to Jordan Bell and DeMarcus Cousins repeatedly in the fourth quarter tonight, where it was like, yep, we're just going to let DeMarcus Cousins guard Kyle Lowry one-on-one at the top of this key here. No one is coming to help. There's not going to be a switch. Good luck, guys.
It's funny because we started this by me saying they were down 6 with 3 minutes to go. And then again, it's like they came back. The Warriors came back in this fourth quarter, right?
Yes, but what I'm saying is the reason the Raptors came back the first time to take the lead is because that's what was happening.
I mean, I am more focused on what the Warriors did at the end of the game. Like, if the question is, did the Raptors choke in the last 3 minutes? That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I mean, Nick Nurse certainly choked by calling that weird timeout and then also not drawing up an out of bounds play.
That thing was really weird at the end.
But also Draymond Green blocked that Kyle Lowry 3, so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they choked. That timeout was weird, and they probably should have called a play, but
I don't think they choked. It was like, the end of that game was, Klay and Steph and then Clay again hitting threes. Like that. That's how they did it. And I definitely don't think Toronto choked. I think the reason it feels like they choked is that people sort of have taken Clay and Steph for granted in doing this at the end of games, whereas it actually is kind of amazing. But because it's like, well, those are the Warriors. Like you blew it. How'd you give up 3 26-footers? And it's like, well, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
Kawhi Leonard was incredible in the stretch of this game. It was like real Michael Jordan shit.
Just like making anything.
Yeah.
Also, it seemed like he was taking a lot of steps. I gotta say, I didn't get a text from my dad about traveling, but there were a couple moments where I was like, I think that was 4.5, and maybe the ball would get bobbled or something. But also, it's possible that Kawhi just has amazing body control, and he can like snatch a pass out of thin air with his hand.
I mean, that Norman Powell dunk where the Warriors stopped playing defense because they thought it was a travel was not a travel. He didn't pick his pivot foot.
No, that was amazing. But there was a play in the first quarter where he took either 4 or 5 steps on the way to the basket, and I don't understand how it wasn't a jump ball or a travel at some point in there. Like at a certain point, you got to put the ball on the floor or stop moving forward.
There's one last thing I want to talk about, which is they got to change that offensive interference rule.
Yeah, because yeah, go
ahead. There's no reason, and I've complained about this before. By the way, I'm not doing it now because the Warriors almost got burned by it. But like, there's just no reason that Boogie play should even have been reviewed. Like, there is no actual downside to not letting that ball be live for the offensive player.
Yeah. And while I think if they'd called it the other way, it wouldn't have been reversed.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's just like, it's such a weird, insane that you should like that's a good rebounding play if you could knock a ball in from the cylinder. And
imagine how many sick dunks we'd have. Everything. Look, every rule in the NBA should be to promote more sick dunks. Yeah, that's my general feeling. More dunks, happier fans.
Also, more blocks in the swat the ball out of the air sense, less charges.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like meet the dude in the air. That circle, man. But like who's really into? I just feel like you have to be like so juiced up on watching Catholic academies play high school basketball to get like, oh man, look at that charge that guy took. Oh, he really got knocked down. He ran into him. He just fell down. You try to block the shot? No, bro. He just fell. That's my hero.
All right. Again, Raptors by 20 Thursday night. You heard it here first.
Oh, also that Boogie foul call at the end was insane.
I mean, yes. Especially because the replay was hilarious because it was like, okay, so you called a foul on the guy who bumped the guy who was literally just bear hugging another guy, like while someone else was fouling someone else behind them. It was like,
it's like
this is like an MC Escher painting of fouls. Like, what is the point of calling any of these?
Well, and everyone is playing by the established NBA rules of the last, I don't know, 35 years of playoffs where it's like, yeah, there's going to be some contact in the last 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But calling like a weird off-the-ball moving screen, I don't know, man. But it didn't end up being consequential at all. Was Pascal Siakam was kind of bad.
I mean, yeah, he was pretty good in... I forget. I thought the second quarter he was pretty good when he was like floating around people, but also he like I don't know. They sat him for the first 9 minutes. I mean, the last 9 minutes of the game. So
Both teams just went super small at the end.
uh-huh.
Did you see Kawhi's reaction after the game?
No.
Or like as the last shot was happening? It was so funny because Kyle Lowry missed the three. You know, it got blocked, so maybe that had an effect, or just that Kyle Lowry was shooting it all in that situation made him dour. But Kawhi's reaction to the missed shot was like he had missed a half-court heave at the end of the first quarter. He just kind of like looked down for a second and then just walked off the court. And I'm just wondering if the Kawhi bot is the perfect athlete for our times now.
So that's been our show. Sean, what would you like to plug?
Some shit on Yardbarker. Whatever, man. It's at Sean Keen.
And then as for me, you can always follow me on Twitter at Frankie Muniz, where 17 hours ago I tweeted, "It doesn't take me long in LA for me to remember why I despise this place. I left at 7 a.m. for a 10:30 appointment 28 miles away, and I'm gonna be late." Sean, did you write a song?
I did.
What is it?
I talked to my friend John Fogerty, and we wrote a song about KD's injury.
Okay. Trust the process. And,
Trust the process.
Shut it down. Let's be mad at everyone all the time on Twitter, all the fucking time.
All the time.
Someone told me Saturday in Game 5 KD would play. I know he's been rehabbing for 5 weeks. When it started, yes indeed, he was hella sick from 3. I know, jumper smooth like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen a calf strain? I wanna know, did the MRI show a strain? Or a minor Achilles tear? We don't trust the training staff. They've been lying out their ass. I know Cavallini was out for the year. Run the players till they're dead. That's why they're like years ahead. I know. Are there class action malpractice suits? I wanna know, have you ever seen a calf strain? I wanna know why they wouldn't pay Chelsea Lane instead of letting her go to the Hawks. Yeah! Hey, Toronto, how did you not win this game? Hey, Toronto, booing injuries is lame, but not as lame as Drake ignoring his son.